Hi there, welcome to the Midday International News Desk. My name is Joyce Iyakwari. Here are the headlines. UN Security Council calls for an end to violence in Myanmar. Amidst fear of violence, Bangladesh votes in rural council elections. Nigerian President Buhari in Paris for Peace Forum. China's President Xi Jinping warns against Cold War-era tension in Asia Pacific. $626 million approved for water settlement in Flint, Michigan. Benin Republic takes delivery of treasures surrendered by France. And on Twitter ban, Layab Mohammed speaks in Paris. ICC Men's T20 World Cup, Pakistan versus Australia semi-final preview. And the news info. The United Nations Security Council has expressed deep concern over increased violence against Myanmar, calling for an immediate end to fighting and for military to exercise utmost restraint. The statement came amid reports of a buildup of heavy weapons and troops in western Chin state, suggesting an imminent army attack to flush out militia groups formed after the military ousted Aung San Suu Kyi's elected government in a coup on February 1st. In a report statement, the members of the Security Council expressed deep concern at the increasing recent violence across Myanmar. They called for an immediate stop of violence and to ensure the safety of civilians. Myanmar military has made no comment on the situation in Chin, a volatile border region that has become a forefront of resistance against military rule. The Southeast Asian country has been incapacitated by protests and violence since the coup, with the military struggling to govern and facing armed resistance from militia and ethnic minority rebels allied with a shadow government that it calls terrorists. The members of the Security Council encourage the pursuance of dialogue and reconciliation in accordance with the will and interests of the people of Myanmar. The Council also called for full, safe and unhindered humanitarian access to all people in need and the protection, safety and security of humanitarian and medical personnel. Bangladesh is holding village council elections that are certain to further consolidate the ruling party's power, but have raised concern about the state of democracy in the South Asian nation. The largest opposition party is boycotting the polls being held on Thursday, saying a skewed political atmosphere is preventing fair participation. Widespread allegations of misconduct were made over the last two national elections, and political violence has marred past votes in Bangladesh, particularly for the rural councils. Chief Election Commissioner K.M. Nurul Huda warned against election violence and said security measures were being taken to tackle any possible incidents. At least 9 people have been killed and 100 injured in campaign violence this month in the run-up to the vote. About 10.5 million eligible voters will choose representatives on 835 councils after proceedings in some places were suspended over irregularities or violence. Analysts said the election is an opportunity for the ruling Awami League Party of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to consolidate its position ahead of the next elections slated for 2023. In a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Chief Femi Adesina, President Muhammadu Buhari arrived Paris, the French capital, on Tuesday afternoon for a one-day official visit to President Emmanuel Macron and will afterwards attend the 3-day Paris Peace Forum, which begins today, November 11th to 13th, November 2021. He further said during the official visit on Wednesday, President Buhari met his French counterpart to discuss issues of mutual interest for both countries, particularly on strengthening economic ties, improving partnership on security, and working jointly on education, health, and halting the threat of COVID-19 to the global economy. At the Paris Peace Forum, the president is scheduled to make a remark to share the peculiarity of the Nigerian experience with the world and efforts undertaken so far for peace. Chinese President Xi Jinping has warned against returning to Cold War-era tensions in the Asia-Pacific region, urging global cooperation ahead of a virtual meeting with his U.S. counterpart. In a recorded video message to a CEO forum on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation (APEC) summit, Xi said on Wednesday that attempts to draw ideological lines or form small circles on geopolitical grounds were bound to fail. Tensions between China and the U.S. have soared in recent years, with Washington raising concerns about Beijing actions in the South China Sea, as well as its stand on Hong Kong, Xinjiang, and Taiwan amid the friction. The two sides began talks to improve communications, and in October, officials announced that Xi and U.S. President Joe Biden will hold a virtual meeting before the end of the year. Following the water lead poisoning, a federal judge in the United States has approved a $626 million settlement for victims of the lead water crisis in Flint, Michigan, in a case brought by tens of thousands of residents who were affected by the contaminated water. The payment awarded on Wednesday is one of the largest civil settlements in Michigan history and will mainly go to the people who were children at the time of the water crisis in Flint. It will also benefit adults who can prove their illnesses were caused by lead poisoning. The city's troubles began in 2014 after it switched its water supply from Lake Huron to Flint River to cut costs. Corrosive river water caused lead to leach from pipes, contaminating the drinking water and causing an outbreak of diseases. The case became emblematic of racial inequality in the U.S. as it affected a city where more than half of the 100,000 residents are black. The settlement was first reached in August 2020 after 18 months of tough negotiations by Attorney General Dana Nessel and Governor Gretchen Whitmer. On Wednesday, Benin Republic welcomed back nearly 30 royal treasures looted from the West African states during France's colonial rule more than 130 years ago. As part of France's President Emmanuel Macron's bid to restore African heritage, Benin President Patrice Talon and the country's Minister of Culture traveled on Tuesday to Paris to bring home the 26 artifacts. The plane carrying the royal treasures landed Wednesday afternoon at Cotonou Airport, the economic capital of Benin Republic, where hundreds of people were gathered to pay homage, dance, and celebrate. Along the road, many Beninese, mostly dressed in lion clothes and traditional dress, were waiting on the sidewalk to the sound of drums and fanfare. The return of the artifacts taken from Abomey Palace, which also include 3 totemic statues, comes as calls mount in Africa for Western countries to return colonial spoils. French lawmakers last year passed a bill allowing Paris to return artifacts to both Benin and Senegal, another former French colony. Experts estimate that 85 to 90% of African cultural artifacts were taken from the continent and donated to museums in Europe and in the United States. Last month, Nigeria said it has agreed with Germany to the return of hundreds of Benin bronzes, metal plaques, and sculptures from the 16th to 18th centuries that were stolen from the palace of the ancient Benin Kingdom in present-day Nigeria. Lai Mohammed, the Nigerian Minister of Information and Culture, said Twitter was suspended in Nigeria and not banned. This was in a response to a question by a participant at the Nigerian International Partnership Forum in Paris. The minister explained that the delay in lifting the suspension in Nigeria is due to the delay in meeting 10 out of 12 conditions given to it. He further said that the matter will soon be resolved. Lai Mohammed also said that the correspondence between Nigeria and Twitter has reached an advanced stage, and he wants to say that the correspondences and the exchanges have been fruitful. However, they have a few more issues to resolve, as Twitter has been able to meet only 10 out of about 12 conditions given them. As Australia meets Pakistan in Dubai in the second semi-final of the T20 World Cup on Thursday, it will likely to be the Asian side who will favourite to progress to the final, where New Zealand lies in wait. Pakistan has also won all its 5 matches in the tournament. Though Australia has looked less than convincing in its run to the semi-final, Adam Zampa is second on the wicket takers list, with a 5-wicket haul to his name, and the openers are starting to click. But for either side to reach the last 4 is nothing short of remarkable. Australia lost its last 5 T20 series coming into the tournament, including in Bangladesh, and looked far from a top 4 side. But Zampa and the 3-man pace attack has helped it reach the semi-finals, coupled with Warner's return to form. It is Pakistan who leads the head-to-head between the two sides, having won 13 out of the 23 matches. The two last met in November 2019, with Australia winning the 3-match series 2-0 after rain ruined the opening match. The semi-final will also pit Matthew Hayden and Justin Langer, one of the Test cricket's most enduring and destructive opening partnerships. Langer is Australia's head coach, which Hayden was hired as battling consultant by Pakistan cricket's new chief Ramiz Raja ahead of the tournament. They opened together for the first time in 2001 and played together at the Sydney Cricket Ground for the last time in 2007. This is all for the Midday International News Desk. We encourage you to join us on the Midday Show Live, coming right by 2 p.m. Please stay tuned to watch Solomon and I.